an ace, and I felt it was going to be a club, funny enough. And I must have willed it in, maybe, you know.
I won't wish you luck. He doesn't need luck, this man here. He doesn't need luck.
It's a 5-1 chip lead. Barry Hearn has won just slightly. That's many more hands. But he really does seem to have the measure of this poker game right now, doesn't he?
Absolutely. Unless John McGuirk can bring some more of his celebrity style to the game and actually play a bit more aggressively, I think Barry Hearn's just going to outplay him.
In his celebrity heat, McCrearick was the aggressor. He bluffed his way head up to this title. Is he going to be able to bluff Barry Hearn as well, as easily? Or?
I think Barry Hearn is bluffable, but the point is no one's actually trying it so far, and he's just getting the lot.
Well, that's another pot for Barry Hearn, who has to reach all the way down to find a place to stick his chips.
Yeah, it's a really good problem to have. Actually, where do I stack my next lot of chips?
Seat at the final table at stake here. Remember, we're playing 8 days in a row. One of these players will come back for that $360,000 final. And John McCrearick, who's done all that he's had to do except climb that final hurdle, now has to face some bad cards as well.
5, 8, call.
He says, I'll call 6 deuce. 20,000 in the pot, flop to come. And Hearn has got this pot strangled right now with the king high. It'll be Barry first to speak, although McCrearick has flopped the best hand with a pair.
20,000.
And these are the kind of pots that could make or break McCrearick's night.
Absolutely. He's basically got to decide, does he think Barry Hearn's actually got any of this flop, or am I winning with my pair of sixes? And Barry Hearn's managed to pick up another pot by bluffing the better hand out. And this time he had the king eight and bluffed out the 6 deuce.
What were McCrearick's options there? Should he have gone all in?
He's basically got to decide, is this the hand I want to die with? If it is, he can shove all his chips in there. If not, he can chip flat call and maybe put a little bit of pressure on Barry, see what he wants to do on the turn. But it's a bit dangerous to be putting 20,000 in there to pass if the next guy makes some more action. It's just too much of his chips.
No room for the weary or weak-kneed at this poker table. And Barry Hearn looks to have his game shoes on here.
Call.
Zeroing in on a big prize. We are 10 and 10 right now, 20,000 in the pot. And neither player has much of anything. So they're both suited. And they both missed.
It's your turn. Check.
15,000.
15,000. Pass.
And Gary Jones, this portends disaster for John McCrearick, doesn't it? Barry Hearn is just robbing him blind.
Absolutely. Walking all over him. It's a
Sorry?
it's a real exercise in aggression and stealing play when it gets down to heads up. John McGuirk shouldn't be letting him walk all over him here.
This is 8. That's 8.
I really thought he'd put up a bigger fight, actually, John.
That's a bit skinny.
McCrearick now down to 81,000. He's getting eaten away here. 5 and 10 at a pop. And Barry Hearn making a lot of quick nickels. Not too many slow dimes. Check and check. And Barry Hearn's got the better hand right now, but if he misses the flop, he may bet it anyway, Gary.
Absolutely.
Straight draw for Barry Hearn. Jack would fit him nicely, but McCrearick's got the
Check.
pair.
20.
20,000. Pass.
Smelt that he was behind there, managed to get away from it without trying to steal the pot. The one time that John actually flops a half-decent hand, Barry checks and doesn't try and steal it.
How did he smell that out?
I don't know.
McCrearick must have wiggled his nose when the flop came down. Barry Hearn displaying the senses of a highly trained poker player here. Of course, he's been around the gambling world some, has Barry Hearn. And look at that Manhattan. Up, up, and away. 48 hands to fill 509,000.
Hasn't had one real big setback so far, Barry. That's a sign of a good poker player. Hasn't really had to commit too many chips. Kept it cheap.
He's just creeping in right now with a very good hand, ace-queen high.
Yep, seems to be laying a bit of a trap for John McCurrick.
McCurrick's got the king-deuce. He cracked aces with that hand in his qualifying heat. Maybe it's his lucky one. No help there. Little crab walk.
20.
20,000.
And McCurrick's finally found the courage to bluff, but he may have picked the wrong hand, Gary.
Yes, absolutely.
Call.
Barry Hearn not being moved off this pot. Thinks his ace may be good. Turn coming, and McCurrick needs a deuce. Or even a king. That's no help.
Check.
And John is now near the cloth.
It's not what's going on.
You call?
Yeah.
Show your cards, please.
Check. Barry Hearn bets all in, and John McCurrick calls. He thinks his king is good, Gary Jones, but it's not. Barry Hearn firmly in command with the ace-queen, and there is one card to come, and if it's not a king or a two, this one is over.
Absolutely. Sitting there with 6 cards to go. Must have thought that Barry was bluffing.
McCurrick tried to make his stand, but this river card will say if it's sane. It's over. Basil wins. Ace high will do it. John McCurrick put up some kind of fight, but Barry Hearn was too tough all night long, Gary Jones. We'll see him at the final table.
Absolutely, and the other professionals who have still got their heat to go are going to look at this and be a little bit worried about having to face Barry because he played absolutely flawlessly today.
Barry Hearns coming through in a professional manner, and you better believe he's happy. He's just beat a bunch of very good players in a dominating fashion, and he'll be back to try and win $150,000. John McCurrick's impressed quite a few people, but remember, we'll be back at the PartyPoker.com European Open on 5. Look at that last hand one more time. John McCurrick found a king and thought it was golden. When 5 came down, though, the king didn't play. It was the ace. And pair of threes, ace kicker, took the money and this heat.
I saw the great Barry Hearn next to me. Piles and piles of chip. Money goes to money. The wealthy get richer. That's what happens in capitalism. The poor are skint. I knew I had no chance. The only thing I've got over Barry, though, I've got Brittany. She's coming back with me. Barry's not going to get Brittany. Cheerio, kids. Great to be here.
I can't begin to tell you how I feel. I mean, this game is such a great game for everybody watching. You know, it creates moments of adrenaline or a rush going through you. And today was my day. I mean, to be fair, I got the cards. I mean, and you get the cards and you're a tough act to beat.